Hi, and welcome to the Mackenzie Show. Today we'll be featuring the cast of The Catcher in the Rye. Please welcome Jonathan Abernathy.
Hi, Mackenzie. Hi. Thank you for having me on your show.
It's a pleasure to have you. So, Jonathan, can you tell me about your role in The Catcher in the Rye?
Well, I play Ward Stradlater. He is Holden's roommate at Pensy Prep, and he's what Holden would call a secret slob, meaning on the outside, he's a very smooth, clean-shaven guy, but when he's not trying to impress girls, he's a repulsive slob.
So can you tell me about Holden and Stradlater's relationship in the book?
Stradlater is very ignorant towards Holden's feelings. He thinks that the world revolves around him and his needs, causing Holden to have a very narcissistic and isolated attitude towards his acquaintances.
Well, that sounds like it would be a great movie. I'm going to go catch it sometime to check out your acting.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. Our next guest today has an unusual relationship with the main character, Holden Caulfield. Please give a round of applause to Jasmine Bowles.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm great.
So, you recently starred in The Catcher in the Rye.
Yes, I played the character Sally Tate.
How was that experience for you? Was it, hard to get into character?
No, I loved it. I felt like I wasn't even going to work. Every day I would come in and I was just hanging out with my friends and having a great time. And it was an easy process for me to get into character because I related to Sally more than I should have.
Oh, in what ways are you and Sally similar?
Well, we're both very outgoing. Sally loves getting ready and going to the movies, and so do I. And she's easily manipulated. In the movie, Holden always manipulates her throughout the whole night in their date. He tried to ruin her night, and she tried to look at the bright side, just like how I do. Even if someone tries to bring me down, try to look at the bright side and keep the negative out.
How does Sally feel when Holden calls her pain in the ass?
She's in shock because she can't believe that someone could ever call her that. 'Cause she's a sweet girl, and she thought Holden was a nice guy, but I guess it didn't work out like that.
Well, thank you for coming. It was a pleasure to have you.
It was nice to see you too.
We'll be right back. Up next we have Abigail Warren.
Hello, Mackenzie.
Hello and welcome.
It's great to be on the show and finally meet you.
So can you tell me about your character in Catcher in the Rye?
Yeah, I play Jane Gallagher, and she doesn't appear in the movie, yet she appears in flashbacks often. And those flashbacks are very important because they affect how Holden views entering adulthood.
That sounds really interesting. So can you tell me how Holden and Sally interact, what type of relationship they have?
Jane and Holden, together, they're naturally just children. Jane accepts the fact that turning into an adult is a part of life, and she realizes that before Holden even does, or will he ever admit it.
That sounds really interesting. I'll be sure to catch it this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's welcome Olivia Leone. She plays Holden's little sister, Phoebe. Thank you. What do you think was the hardest part about playing his little sister in the whole movie? Well, I think the hardest part was trying to act young, but at the same time knowing my material. That sounds interesting. So what do you think with your character and how she interacted with Holden? I think they got along for most of the movie, but they would disagree on most things, just like any other sibling relationship. True, but can you explain what happened when you tried to run away with Holden? Oh, well, Phoebe doesn't like being away from her older brother. That's why she wanted to run away with him. Okay, thank you for being here. Goodbye, and thank you for having me. So let's give a big hand of applause to the star of Catcher in the Rye, Caleb Danvers. So tell me about your character.
Well, basically, Holden's just a teenager who doesn't want to grow up.
Sounds symbols in the book?
Well, there's a lot of symbols. Like, for example, like Holden has salt and peppery hair, but it's really just symbolic for him growing up.
How did you portray this so for the audience can understand?
Like, it was kind of hard. Like he has this hunting hat, and I tried to distinguish between when he was wearing the hunting hat, which was when he was being more immature, and when he wasn't, which was when he was facing unavoidable situations and adult-like situations, basically.
That sounds really interesting. Can you tell me about the meaning of the title?
Well, yeah, basically it all started when Holden was walking down the street. There was a little boy walking in front of him, and he was walking in the street, but very close to the curb.
Okay.
And he was singing Catcher in the Rye. And his parents were still on the sidewalk, and that basically, from that moment on, like, Holden knew he wanted to be the catcher in the rye.
Well, didn't they tell the child to come off the street? Like, why weren't they good parents and just telling him because it was dangerous?
Because the child was still safe. It was all symbolic. So the little boy was representative of youth, and the street was life. The traffic and the cars and everything represented the dangers of life. And the child knew not to run into the street, but he knew it was okay to still be in the street as long as he didn't throw himself into the street. So basically the child knew that he was safe, but he didn't go in the street. And his parents knew he was safe too, as long as he didn't go in the street. And so that's why he wanted to be the catcher in the rye, which basically meant that he wanted to stop the children from growing up. He wanted to save the children before they reached adulthood.
Wow, I can tell you really got into this. So, don't forget to see Catch in the Rye coming out this weekend. Thank you for watching the Mackenzie Rose Show. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.